So you might have watched the Celeste video before and heard something like, this map is a tier 3, or looked in the description of a golden strawberry video and read that it was a tier 1, but you might not actually have any idea what this means. And that's fair, because if you're not super deep into the community or haven't been around for that long, there's a good chance you wouldn't know exactly, since there isn't many sources covering the topic. And that's why I'm here today to explain to you all about the Celeste golden tiers you will ever need to know. So let's start. What are the golden tiers? Well, the golden tiers are a community-made ranking system used to roughly define the difficulty of golden strawberries in modded maps. If you somehow don't know what a golden is, simply put, it's a collectible in Celeste that if you pick it up, you have to complete that level without dying. So basically just a deathless run. Now, there are a number of tiers that are used to give players an idea of how hard a given golden is. And just like how, for example, esports teams work, it's not actually the higher the number the harder, but the lower the number the harder it is. The current tiers we have range from the easiest tier being tier 7 to the hardest tier being tier 1. And you might ask, well, Parrot, if someone does something harder than a tier 1, what happens then? And well, that happened actually, because I lied. It doesn't actually go up to tier 1, it goes up to tier 0 as the hardest tier. Which is a bit silly, but honestly I think it sounds very cool. Now of course, if someone were to go past this, tier -1 kinda starts to sound a little bit too silly. So often people in the community refer to the theoretical tier after this as tier X. This is by no means official though, and no one is even remotely close to clearing anything this hard. There is still just only one tier 0. But if you hear someone talk about tier X, you now at least know what that refers to. Anyways, we're getting a bit sidetracked, so I should probably move on to explain the next thing. Which is, how difficult actually are these tiers, and how are they defined? Because I can say funny numbers like tier 5 and tier 2 all I want, but you wouldn't have any idea how hard these actually are. So tier 7, the lowest tier, is defined as harder than the hardest base game Celeste Goldens excluding Farewell, which comes down to being the nicknamed Hell Trio of 6B, 7B and 8B Golden. Meaning that any golden that is tiered is harder than any of those. Anything easier goes on what is known as the standard list. Now tier 3 and up is defined as anything harder than Farewell Golden, meaning that everything in tier 3 and higher is harder than the hardest thing you can do in the vanilla game. These highest few tiers are also divided up into sub-tiers. As indicated by the different shades of color, these tiers are divided up into low, mid and high tier, to specify the difficulty of these a bit more precisely, since at this level difficulty within tiers can vary wildly. Though within these sub-tiers, the goldens are placed in an alphabetical order, meaning they aren't ranked exactly, as this would be way too hard to do accurately and cause way too much discussion. The same thing goes for the previous tiers as well. All of the tiers and golden placements are subjectively decided by the community and the players that beat them. This also means that the list should never be taken as 100% fact and that the goldens get moved around all the time. Players can have different skill sets and experiences, resulting in some goldens being much harder for one player than the other and vice versa. The last thing I want to go over is, where can you find this list of golden tiers and how do I get my name on there? Currently, the golden tiers, or better known as the top golden list, is part of the custom map Golden Strawberry spreadsheet. There's plans for this to be worked into a full website soon, but that hasn't happened yet as for the time of making this video. I'll put a link to it down in the description. There's a lot of info there as well when it comes to rules and info you might want to know. The spreadsheet is basically a big archive of modded goldens where you can find lists for basically anything modded / deathless and player golden clears related. If you want to know how to get your own clears on here, all you gotta do is join the official Celeste Discord server, which is also down in the description, and in the achievements channel post a video of your custom map golden and ping the modded golden team role. Please also read over the submission rules first though. Also to note, the modded golden team does not track Farewell Goldens as they are not a modded map. They are tracked separately on their own sheet, which is the Farewell Goldens collectors list, which is currently managed by Issy. So if you want to submit your Farewell Golden to here, post your video in the achievement channel and ping Isabel instead. If you're curious to discuss more about the golden list with others and want to have access to the full list changelog and more, there's also the Celeste modded and deathless server link below. Alright, I hope this video was helpful and informative to you and I was maybe able to teach you something new today. If you have any further questions or other topics you would like me to cover in this format, please let me know down in the comments and I'll be sure to respond or look into it. Thanks so much for watching and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed it. I also stream daily over on Twitch where I'm currently working on practicing the new hardest golden, so check that out if that seems interesting to you. Okay, have an amazing day everyone and I will see you all later. Bye bye.